So let's continue. Just a short recap of whatever we have started with. So we started with learning LMS. We saw about what are the different options from the home drop down as an admin, as a trainer, as an end user. We just saw the overview of the options that are available. And then we moved on to the learning admin tool. And into the admin tool, we started with an item. So we started with an item, and I think we started creating the item. We created an item type. We went ahead, we created the item over here. What happened?
Oh, I'm not sure. It got disconnected.
Okay. All right. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So what I was saying was we started with the item. We created a new item type, and we also saw about the different fields over here. Like what exactly are these different fields? And then we just saw about an overview of the related area, the action area. We're ready to start with the next topic. Like we are only with the item. And as far as your doubt, like this assignment type dropped on whatever you had told, I don't think it comes by default with some values. So it's all your wish only, like whatever value you have to set up in the drop down, it depends on the business requirement.
Okay.
So for example, see here, let's have a look at this is a particular workbook. So over here, if you just look for, what is that, assignment type, you can see that totally there are different values. Like say for example, for this workbook, what they have given is these are the different types of assignment types. So you can see mandatory is there, optional is there, recommended is there, but other than that, rest all things are different only, required. So probably you can create these as set of standard ones. If at all, if they don't give you anything, or if at all, if you want to suggest them something, you can take the required, recommended, optional, and mandatory. Those would be the four default ones, I guess, which every system would have. Apart from that, you can include whatever extra they want to like have as a assignment type in their organization. Okay, I'll send you this also. I don't think I have sent you this. I'll check you what exactly I have sent you. I'll try to send you much more documents, and I will also send you the access by today.
Okay, great. Thanks.
And as far as this instructor led WebEx, whatever you had asked for, that is also perfectly possible. And I have just copied this particular document. You can have a look at this document. This is your corresponding KBA. Like just try to have a look at this, but in detail they have given you what exactly has to be what exactly are the steps that has to be done for configuring an instructor led WebEx. You have an SUSE ID and the password?
Yeah, I have the university as yours already. I'll
Okay.
use it.
Okay. So I'll just give you this document. The images have not got copied, but otherwise when you go to this particular link, clearly with the images, they step by step they've given. Like what is the initial setup that you have to do, then what are the subsequent steps that you have to do for configuring an instructor-led WebEx training, which you can do from system admin here. So I think you must be having access to system admin. So along with this and that you can do. Okay.
Okay.
So that is about the item. So next after item, let me just show you this. I'm not sure if I have it here. 1 minute. So we saw on the other day how the items are going to get assigned to the attendees. Like the item is going to be there. From the item, we're going to create a scheduled offering. And then what we are also going to have is we're going to have an assignment profile. So we're going to have an assignment profile, or in other words, we are going to have a catalog. So this item is a number of items are going to map into a common catalog. So So let's say a number of items are going to be mapped into the catalog. So this catalog is nothing but it is a set of items. And to this catalog, we are going to assign an assignment profile. So the next series of things that we are going to do is we are going to create an assignment profile. We are going to create a catalog. And through this, we are going to see how a particular set of users alone are able to have access to a list of items. So the main idea of this particular activity is that we want a set of users to be able to get assigned to a list of items, and they should not be able to see other items, or in other words training programs, and they should be able to request for a particular training program if at all it requires approval, or if it doesn't require approval also, they should be only able to see a set of programs that they are eligible for. So to cope up with this requirement, because every item can of course be assigned to users or a set of users, but although this cannot be done on a day-to-day basis, like say every new employee who joins an organization is entitled to a particular set of training programs. So we cannot sit and do that manually. So in order to automate the process, we have the concept of catalog and assignment profile. So scheduled offering is always created from an item. A scheduled offering is nothing but it is your offering. It is a scheduled offering of an item, which means you are planning for an offering, which is nothing but you're planning for a session for that particular training program. That is called as a scheduled offering of an item. So let's create a scheduled offering of an item. Of course, you can go to learning and you can go to scheduled offering and you can add in the scheduled offering from here. Although I'm going to do it from the related area. Because we have an option to do it from the related area, this would be most ideal rather than going to the scheduled offering and exactly searching for the item. So this is our item. You can create a scheduled offering from here. Just click on to schedule. This is going to get open up. So there are three sections, rather four sections here: a summary section, schedule, resources, and a registration form custom column section. So in the item, if you see here, these four values are got auto-populated. So that is because we have selected this from an item. Otherwise, we'll have to fill this up. So the type is an item. The item type is something that we have created. The item ID is this. The domain is your public domain. So let's.
What is meant by schedule block? I never used it, so.
What is meant by schedule block?
Yeah, what is it and what is it exactly does?
No, item is your basic classification, whatever we have created. I think schedule block is something else which you can create from here. Let me have a look at that. And probably from the scheduled, okay, I think schedule block is nothing but it is um, like every Monday 1:30 to 2:30, something like that. You create a schedule block. Let's do that 1 minute. So just go to schedule block. You can create a new schedule block from here. Let's say for example, NSB schedule block 1. Add. Okay, they're just giving a name for a schedule block, and same thing only. Like I don't see any difference except for the fact that it is not attached to a particular item. I think a schedule block is like it's going to happen as a schedule every day without being without being offered at different times. It is just a block which you can schedule at different times. Anyways, let me check what is the scheduled block. I will check this. Just check this. I'll just check.
Okay.
Let's go back to our item only. So let's schedule it. So over here, we have the schedule information, which is your start date, start time, time zone, your facility, primary location, instructor, and an equipment. So these resources. The next thing that we are going to do, even before we try creating a schedule, is creating your resources. So your resources can be created from, so we create resources and we'll come here. The resources can be created from the link, references, physical resources, resources. So this is the place where you create a physical resource. And as far as physical resources are considered, you have, 1 minute. To show something else here. Okay. So as far as physical resources is considered, you would mainly be creating facilities. Your facilities has nothing but your facility plus a primary location. A facility refers to a building and your primary location refers to a training room and a building. For example, let's go back here. For instance, let's say schedule. So here your facility is there. Your facility is nothing but a building. So let's say we have offices in say ABC location, and in ABC location there are 5 buildings, or rather let's say 3 buildings, A, B, and C. So every building is called as a facility. And in building A, let's say you have 5 training rooms. So those 5 training rooms are called as primary locations. So every facility A, B, and C each will have five primary locations. That is a training room in the building. Together it is called as your place. The facility plus the primary location is called as a phase. So always you need to associate your location to your facility, because you have to say to which exact location is your primary location, exactly which facility does your primary location belong to. That mapping has to be done. And when you're creating a location, you would also have location types, which means when you're creating a location, you would associate it to a location type, which is like a broad classification of location, whether it is what do you say, an instructor-led classroom, or whether it is a WebEx classroom, for example, or whatever you want to say. Like for example, mm, it is what do you say?
Is it like an auditorium or
Yeah,
a
that's right.
English class?
Correct.
Mm.
It's in the auditorium or it is a classroom. So that is your location type, which you can create. Your location is your actual name of that particular room. And then with regard to equipment, we can create equipment, and every equipment will be associated with an equipment. The actual equipment will be associated with equipment status and a type. So equipment type is again the broad classification of equipment, wherein you can say the equipment as like projectors, or you can have your tables, your systems, your laptop, all those things, your equipment types. The individual number of equipment or individual name for every equipment is created. It will have a status which shows whether it is available or not. And you can also create custom resources as part of this particular resources category. Plus, you would also have a primary instructor. So, as far as resources, whenever you are creating a new item, you would majorly create that building where the training is going to happen, the person who is going to take up that particular training, and the resources that are required for the training to happen. These are your resources. So, all these resources you would be creating from the node references, physical resources. So let's try creating them, and then we will go and schedule the scheduled offering. So let's go and create a facility. So we go to physical resources. So as I told you, this references is a place where you are going to create any drop-down value. Any drop-down value you create from what is called as your references. So let's go to references. Let's go to physical resources. So let's start creating a facility. Let's start with the location, because let's start with the facility, and then when we create a location, we need to associate it to a facility. So maybe we can start creating a location type. So let's add new. So let's say it is let's say auditorium. So add. So description is also say auditorium. Apply changes. So once you create a location type, let's go and create a location. So references, physical resources, locations. So let's add a new location from here. Location ID. So say in Audi 1. So auditorium 1. And then the location type is going to be NOD. We didn't apply changes, I think. Let's add it again. So NOD, add. It is already there. All right. It should be here somewhere. Okay, it's here. NOD. And then you can associate it to a facility. So let's try creating a facility from here. When there is a plus, you can directly create from here. So let's add a facility. So let's say the facility is nothing but it is a building. So let's say N building 1. I'm just adding N to everything to denote that we are working on it. N for your name.
Okay.
So, N say building 1. And then you can again associate this facility to a region, a holiday profile, a time zone, and a work week. So just let's list down everything. So as far as resources, first we tried creating the location type. We tried creating location. Next we are now creating the facility. When we are creating the facility, we need to associate it with the region, because a facility is nothing but it is a building. It is a physical location where it is actually present. So that might belong to a particular region. It will have a list of holidays. So your holiday profile that you're going to assign here is specific to the particular building. So let's say we take an external vendor room from outside, where we are going to conduct all our training. So even though we may work on Sunday, that particular people may not work on Sunday. So they may have their own list of holidays for a year. So that is what is called as a holiday profile. We create a holiday profile and we attach it to the particular facility, so that when you schedule for trainings, accordingly the pop-up appears if at all if we try scheduling it on a holiday. So holiday profile, time zone, and a work week. So time zone is again which time zone they fall on, and work week is again what all days on the week they work. So this work week is what all days on the week they work, and holiday profile is what all holidays they have for the current year. So all these four we tag it over here. So first of all, let's create those. So to create,
Are these mandatory fields? If not, is it possible to make them mandatory or not mandatory?
it is not mandatory only.
Okay. I mean, is it possible to convert them to mandatory? Can we make it?
I
Okay.
don't think we can make them as mandatory, because what can be done is that which appears here in all these things. You can of course make it as mandatory or not. But these references, I don't think we have any action to do over here.
Okay.
Okay. But here, okay, I think this can be made as mandatory. Okay, this can be made as mandatory. But when you're creating a facility, that cannot be done. But these can be made mandatory. So this is nothing but you're creating a scheduled offering. These can be made mandatory from system admin. Go to configuration, and then you have system admin configuration, record configuration. Over here you need to go to scheduled offering. So over here in record related information, written more. Okay, this is only for adding new fields. What you want is you want them to make mandatory, right? Um, Mandatory is again, it's going to appear in the list of fields. I think that should be possible. 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. Go to scheduled offering. Okay, but this is not going to happen at the place where we create. This is in general the overall data of the scheduled offering. But what you're asking is when we register, right?
Yes,
But
when
still,
when we create the schedule offering, is it possible?
I think
Or other than schedule offering, any of the preferences or anything which we want to make it as mandatory, is it possible to make
it
them?
should be possible. Say, for example, let's say we want to make the facility a mandatory one. Facility. Here is your facility. In order to make it mandatory, you just select this. This is already in the available part only, but I'm not able to make it mandatory. Not able to select this. Just a minute. This is display. This is available. Not able to select this. Maybe I don't have access to do this. Let me check. There should be some access because see, for an item, let's say you want to make something mandatory, you can always go to system admin, configuration, record configuration. From here, once you go to item, you will be able to see all the fields that get displayed. And if at all, if you want to make a particular field mandatory, you can just choose this particular tick bar over here. And once you save, it will get mandatory. I mean, it will become mandatory. So now let's go to your item. You can see that the maximum registration is now become mandatory. Like say view all, we made maximum registration as a mandatory field. So that you can see here. Your maximum registration. Here, you can see that now it is being made as a mandatory field. So that's how you make things as mandatory. But for scheduled offering, if we are not able to do that, then probably this ID that I'm using is not having access to that, nothing more than that. So you must be able to do it. So let
Okay.
me check for the access, if access is not there for scheduled offering alone, and then I will tell you. So this is a place where you can make fields as mandatory or not, and the particular place from where the auto generation happens, like say for an item the ID gets auto generated, that happens from here. You go to application admin, you go to auto generated IDs. Over here there are only 4 things for which the IDs can get auto generated. Number 1 is item, 2 is equipment, 3 is instructor, 4 is user. Only 4 things. Other than this, for none of the other entities you can have an auto generation ID. So you can add a prefix here and the number gets auto generated. I mean, that number is an auto generated sequence of number depending on the number of items that you have created. So that LMS underscore item to the prefix between before the number, it comes from here, the ID prefix that we have entered here. So this again, there is something called site ID, ordering a site comma ID or ID comma site. This site is nothing but it is not used. Okay, site is generally not used. Site refers to the various landscapes in a particular organization. As in, there is a development system, there is a pre-production system, there's a production system assumed. So the development can have a site FDEV. The pre-production can have PREP. The production can have PROD. So these can be kept as a sites. And what will happen is always to every item that you create on the respective landscape, that site ID can also be attached along with the item ID. This is seldom not used, but you have an option. But you can see here that the ordering is enabled. So even though in the ID you saw that the site never appeared anywhere, That is because the site is configured from here. What happened? You're able to hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, then something in the system. So that site, I'll tell you from where you can create it. Just go to system admin. You have an option here, configuration, global variables. Here you have the site prefix. So this is a place where you can add a prefix depending on what site you're. So now this is a test system, whatever I'm using. So you can add a test prefix here. So once you add a test prefix, and depending on the sequence that you want, whether it is ID comma site or site comma ID, when you go and create your items, that particular prefix gets added to your number. So here you can see n classroom is your item type. This is your item ID, where LMS underscore item is your prefix taken from the auto-generated ID place wherever I shown you. 273001 is the number that got auto-generated. This is your revision time and date stamp. So what we don't see here is site ID, because site ID is not used generally, and site ID can also be added if at all if your client wants to use it from the place what I showed you. And that is about your auto generation ID. Okay. As far as your I'll make note of schedule block and fields mandatory in schedule block. Okay, so these are the things that I will check it out. So let's continue. So we were here. So we are going to create all these things. So now before we could create all these things, we have to create the work week, the holiday profile. So we have to create the region, the holiday profile, the time zone, and the work week before we could create a facility. So that you can again create from references. Your I don't know. You have to create a, okay, that should be under here. Under calendars and time, you have holidays, holiday profile, time zone, and work weeks. So these are the places from where you're going to create. All these things are going to be created from calendars and times. So the first thing is your region. So region. Okay, let's type here. You can also type directly from here. Add region. You can add region from here. So let's say go. So regions are added from here, from user regions. So if you don't know the path or something, you can always search from here. It will directly take you to the path. That is another way of finding out. So just add, no, you can add a region from here. Let's say I'm just going to add a region called India. I'll just add IND. I call it as India. That is your region. So what you can do is every region can be associated to a number of facilities. Facilities are nothing but it is again your building plus your location together is your facility. No, yes, your facility is going to incorporate the location as well. The facility is also going to have your region, holiday profile, and time zone. So you can add one or more facilities to a particular region. So we have still not created any facilities. We can also associate instructors to regions, as in this region, what are the instructors that we have. So for now, let's just save this. We will apply changes. Later, we will come back and associate our facilities to this particular region. So let's again go here, references. Let's go to calendars and time. So that's about region. Let's create holiday and holiday profiles. Let's go to holidays. So we'll add a new holiday. So let's say New Year. So let's say N New Year. And you can even prefix your year number if at all if you want, just to differentiate the different holidays that we're going to create. So let's say this is going to be say 1/1/2018. And the holiday must be a valid date. Okay, let's try choosing. I don't know what format they're using. Okay, it's YYYYDDMMM. I mean YYYYMMDD. Let's add this. So that is going to be a particular holiday. You just come, you enter your holiday and the date. So apply changes. Similarly, let's say we are going to add one more holiday. Say in holiday one. Holiday one. I'm just randomly entering a particular date. Let's say we'll make coming Friday as a holiday, for instance, to test. So add, apply changes. So that's it. It's very easy. We are just going to give a name, description, the date, to add holidays, and then to create a holiday calendar, you go to calendars and time, go to holiday profiles, add a new holiday profile. So let's say N holiday profile for 2018. So you can just add this, add, and then this you would associate it to a list of holidays. So let's add one or more from the list, and let's search, let's say, or we can just go down and see, we'll just go to the next page. So these are the holidays, N holiday and N New Year. So let's add both of them and then apply changes. So that's it. That's how we create a holiday profile. We've created holidays, we created a holiday profile. Next, let's go and create a work week. So references, calendars and time. Time zone. Okay, if at all, if you want to add any new time zone that is not present here, yes, you can go and add. So you would just go to, but I think by default you're going to have all the time zones that are going to already appear here. Just have a look. If not, also you can add. I'm not able to add here. Okay, the thing is like already all time zones are going to be present here. Whatever time zone you want to have or add into your system, you just select it from here. You don't have the option of creating new time zones. Okay, by default, the system itself is going to have all the list of time zones. Just choose whatever time zones you want to choose. That should appear in your instance. That is about your time zone. Then you go to work week profiles. Profiles. Your work week profile is nothing but what all days on a week does your facility work. That is your work week profile. Let's add new. Let's say N work week 1. So work week 1. So you can say that you work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but not on Sunday. So this you can choose, and you can add. Apply changes. So that is all. That's how you create a work week profile. So I think that's it about the things that are necessary to create a facility. We're done with all these. Let's go to physical resources. Let's try to create a new facility now. We've already created location type and location. So add new. Let's say N building 1. So building 1. So region, let's choose the region, say India. So it belongs to the region India. Holiday profile is N holiday profile 2018. Time zone, let's choose Indian Standard Time. For example, Indian Standard Time is not here, here it is. And then work week is again N work week 1. Whether it is an external facility, you can indicate it from here, or if it is an internal, you don't have to choose it from here. Add. Just a moment. Is it recording? Yes. Okay. So then you just apply changes. Once you apply changes, you can add some other details to it, like say your contact, where exactly is this particular facility located, your location, where it is associated. You can associate it to a particular location. You can also associate it to one or more equipment. So this is the next thing that we are going to create. Because if you remember, when you're creating a scheduled offering, you need to create a facility, a location, instructor, and a resource. So we are just done with the first two. Instructor we have to create, and we also have to create the resources. So if you already have any resources, you can associate that this particular facility is equipped with these resources. As in, say, by default, every room has a projector, and the projector will have a particular ID. So you will associate the room with the projector, so that you will say that it is occupied whenever it is being scheduled for an offering.
Is it possible, for example, if I want to create a facility and I don't want to add any region or times or anything, I'll just create the facility without anything, and I want to block creating schedule offerings on the weekends. Is it possible to do that way?
Yeah, you can do. Yes, you can do. For example, let's say we'll create another facility without any of them. Let's just finish this and we'll create second one. Yes, you can do. It's not mandatory fields, so you can do. So
Still, oh, but is it still? Um, is there any way to? Is there any way we can say that do not? Is there any way in the system
not to show
which,
these
yeah,
fields.
which blocks the weekends? Yeah.
1 minute. Let's check that. Equipment. Let's say there are no equipment here. Cost, you leave it off. Cost we will do later again when we'll separately deal with cost. So let's say add new. You have all these, but these are not mandatory fields. What you're saying is these should not appear here at all, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for that, let's say for system admin configuration, your record configuration, that is your place for in everything, where whatever fields you want to add or not, these are your fields. I mean, for your different the things, but I don't see.
No, what I mean is when you go into the item and when you click on the schedule,
Mm,
it shows us a drop down in the calendar, like a calendar,
mm,
like the start date and the end date shows up as a calendar.
yeah.
Is it possible for us to set up the system in such a way that it blocks all the weekends?
No. That is not possible.
Okay.
That is not. That is a standard calendar that appears as a drop down. The standard field.
Okay, so providing these holidays and the holidays info, it will block the calendar.
No, it will not block the calendar. It will still show all the dates. When you choose these holidays, it will throw an error saying whatever date you have chosen falls on a holiday. But still,
Oh,
you
okay.
can say yes and then you can proceed also. There's no restriction on that.
Okay.
Even though it is a holiday, it only gives you an information. But still, if you go ahead and schedule it on that day, yes, it will take it. So that you cannot restrict.
Okay.
Mhm. So yes. So finally, what we were about to do is your resources. So as far as your equipment is considered, you have here three things: equipment, equipment status, equipment types. You also have a custom resources, and you also have materials. So if you have a look here, your material is nothing but it is your list of inventory items like your marker, your paper, your books. All those things are your materials. And if you look at your equipments, it is nothing but it is your projector, it is your LCD, your tables, your system, all those things are equipment. So your material is your inventory items, this is your non-inventory items. Accordingly, you can create your stuff. So for example, let's go to physical resources. Let's create equipment type. First of all, let's add new. So let's say I'm going to add an equipment type of say N laptop, and just apply changes. So what we have created is an equipment type for laptop, and then let's create an actual equipment. So physical resources, equipment. Before that, equipment status, whether it is available or not available. So you go to physical resources, equipment status. So let's add new equipment status. So let's say N laptop available. It can be scheduled means this particular laptop can be scheduled for a particular scheduled offering. Some of them cannot be scheduled. For example, when you create say your tables and chairs that are there on a room, that cannot be scheduled. It's always going to be there. But this, let's say, it can be scheduled, which means if there are 5 participants, we assign these 5 laptops to 5 people. This same laptop can be assigned to a sixth person who's attending the trainings. That is what it is, can be scheduled. Let's add this. Apply changes. So again, can be scheduled means when it is in available status, then it can be scheduled. When it is non-available status, it cannot be scheduled. For instance, let's say N laptop non-available. So this means that when the laptop is in this particular state, you cannot schedule it for a particular training. So this is like two status of equipment that is available, two status of equipment that is available and not available. And your actual equipment you can create now. Let's say you create, add new. Let's say this is going to be auto generation. If not, you remove it and you maintain the ID here. Say n laptop, say 1. So let's say laptop 1. And you can enter a EMI number here. You can add a particular equipment type here. You can say the equipment status here. Now it is available. You can assign it to a particular location. We didn't create a location, I think. So you can create a new location from here. So let's say we're going to create a new location, say Bangalore, India. So location type is location type. Again, I don't think we created location type. So let's create a location type ID. Let's say it is a physical location. So in classroom. So add. So it belongs to a facility called, this is your facility. We haven't still created the facility, I think. Okay, we haven't still created the facility, right? We are only creating the equipment still. You can have a maximum capacity here. You can have a contact number, email, and comment for this particular location. So that if at all, if it is an external location and we want to like send a mail that we have booked this particular room, or even internally also, let's say for every facility, somebody gets a mail saying the things have got booked, you can add your name and email ID over there.
Oh, so when we add the email ID over here, then it's whenever we schedule some offering, it goes to those email IDs.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So then you can give a contact and comment also here. Let's just add this off. We've just added an equipment. Offerings, you can go and see what all other we apply changes. Okay, apply changes. When you go to the offerings, you can see if at all there are any scheduled offerings that are planned for this equipment. So currently there is nothing because we haven't still started creating any scheduled offering. But once we create a scheduled offering, the entire history can be seen from here. Again, cost we will come back later. So this is all like say plain go and enter type of things. Like there is no much detail to look, but you can go to calendars and time, the physical resources, all these things you can try creating. And apart from them, you can create a materials if at all if you want. Let's say physical resources, materials, you can go and create a material if you want in a similar way. Let's say it could be a material like whatever I told you, like say a marker or something, your notepad that you want to create for every person. You can go attendee, you can go and create it from here, and you can create your custom resources from here. So add new, you can go to create a custom resource ID also from here. So let's say we are done with all this. Let's go and create a facility now. So let's go back to facility. So let's add new. So let's say in building 1, in building 1. So let's map it to a region. So we map it to a region India. So we map it to a holiday profile, a time zone, a work week. N, where is our work week? Create a work week. Yeah, here. And then we just add. Okay, it is already there. Okay, let's try to search it in building 1. Let's try to edit this. So here we go to contact. You can add the contact for this particular facility. You can go to location. So here you can add one or more locations to them. Let's say we added a created location called Bangalore. So we are adding this particular location to the facility. Again, equipment. So let's say we added some equipment called N, let's search, starts with N. So N laptop 1. Let's add this. So we're adding our equipment to this. And then cost, again, we will come back to this later. So just apply changes. So we are done with creating a facility. Now let's go to the user. Let's go to region. Let's go to India. Let's see if our facility is added here. Yes. So the moment once you, like, you can add it from either way around, either from the region you can associate the facility, or from the facility you can associate the region. Whatever you do, it's going to get added up over here. So now let's go, and now let's schedule our offering. So you go to schedule. So these are our basic details. Let's give a start date. Say, let's say we're starting from tomorrow. Say me first. So choose me first. Let's say the start time is 9 o'clock. Let's associate a facility. Say N. Facility. N classroom, right? Are you able to see our facility over here?
Is it the building 1 and building 1?
Yeah, right. That is our facility. Then let's, so see, once you select a particular facility, the only location pops up over here. So if at all, let's say you have many locations, in many locations you're following the same facility, the name patterns and all, you can still have all those locations also popped up. I mean, you can have it, let's say your locations are Bangalore, Chennai, Pune and Hyderabad. In all those 4 places, let's say you have the same naming formats, as in the same building 1 to 3, every building 1 to 3, every facility 1 to 3 has those 5 training locations. So the same things can be replicated and added to different locations. So let's choose our location. Instructor. So we haven't still created an instructor. Let's do that. Equipment. So our equipment is laptop 1. So let's create a particular instructor. So to add an instructor, just select this, add new instructor. So here, in order to create an instructor, you must have the user already present in the system. The user should already be user should already be there. Only then you can create an instructor. So we have to first go to users, add any new user, and then we have to come and add an instructor. But for now, let's create it. Tomorrow we will see how to add a new user and make him as an instructor. So I'm just going to add, say, N instructor 1. So let's say 1, let's say the first name is N instructor. By default, for an instructor, the default instructor role gets selected, and you have to attach this instructor to an existing user in the system. So for you to create an instructor, first of all, the user should be present. Users can be created from the user workforce management group from here. We haven't still created that, but yes, we will do that. But for now, because we want to see how to schedule a particular item, I'm just going to choose any existing user and I'm going to tag him as an instructor. So I'm just searching. Let me say, I will just create a particular user, let's say 20002 Blue Max. Let me choose 20002. And you can see here automatically the item from which we are trying to create an instructor, that item will get populated here. In other words, every instructor can be attached to an authorized to teach item, which can be seen in his login. So just add this up. Okay, the related user is already associated with another instructor. So already he is an instructor. So let's try to search for somebody else. 20002. What about 20003? Let's add him. Okay, we have added him. Email address is missing for the instructor. Okay, I think anyways I have to log in again. Let's do one thing. Let's give him an email ID. So what they're saying is email ID is missing for him. Let's give an email ID. It's 20003. So for now I'll add it. Later we will see this user thing in detail. But now I'm just adding an email ID. Just go to user blog. Search for the user ID 20003. So let's choose him. Let's maintain an email ID for him. The look and feel is all the same. Like whatever may be the object. It could be an item. It could be a user. Whatever is your object. The look and feel, the fields and all are the same kind of stuff. So as far as email ID is considered, let's check for the email. Email ID. Here is your email ID. Okay,
I
what
think in the instructors.
instructor? Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So you go to learning. Why is this appearing in a shortened way? I don't know. Let's come back. Let's come back. So let's go to learning. So we need to maintain the ID for the instructor. So let's go to instructor. Our instructor's related user is say to 0003. Let's edit this. So let's say we maintain an email ID here. So we can maintain an email ID from,
It's right over here
yeah,
under
you're
the times.
yes. So let's maintain any email ID here. Say test@test.com. Once you maintain this email ID, they will get a notification. Whenever they are scheduled for a particular training, they get notifications from here. So now let's again choose this. Let's go back and let's come back. So let's start from tomorrow, from May 1st, say 9 o'clock. Let's associate the building. Let's choose your location. Let's choose your instructor. And then let's choose your equipment. So now, see here, once you choose all these, if you remember when we created an item, we created it for 3 days. So also we created it for a particular hours. That also comes up here. And look at the resource usage view. If you choose your instructor, if at all this instructor is already booked for somebody else, something else, all those will appear here. We are not able to see it now because it's all new. We're creating it for the first time. But otherwise, when it is already created, when it is already, the schedule is available, the entire list would appear over here. So maybe the next time you're going to create a scheduled offering, you would see all these details that these facility, location, structure, equipment are booked for these dates. That detail you will be able to see. And here you have registration form custom columns. This registration form custom columns are nothing but whenever a user tries to register, for a particular training program, these columns can appear as a custom column in the registration form. So I will tell you how to add this registration form custom column later, like once let's see the normal procedure. After that, I will take you through how you can add a custom column from here. Just save this for now. We're creating a scheduled offering here. What happened? It gets saved or not?
Mhm.
Object not found. I think probably my internet issues. Okay, let me just try to log in again. So let's go to learning. So let's go to our favorites. Let's go to our item. So not to see the scheduled offering, just go over down. You have the list of scheduled offerings over here. This is your scheduled offering. It has got created. So always you can just go to the item and come from here, and probably let's bookmark this as well. Otherwise we'll have to like search for everything. Let's bookmark this as well. So this is our scheduled offering that we have created. So over here you can see the creation date, phone. You can give a phone number here. It is marked as mandatory. Let's give a phone number here, a location. So enable cancellation reason. This we will see later, like when attendees trying to register for this, and when he goes ahead and he cancels it off, then he would get some reasons for which he can go ahead and cancel the registration. That is enable cancellation reason, if at all of the cancellation has to be enabled. We will look at this later. And then this column 9940 are all custom columns, and here registration cutoff date is 7. See here, what you can do is you can say that when the registration is actually going to start from tomorrow, you can say that by today the registration would cut off, like after today nobody can register, and you can maintain a cutoff time also. Let's say if today until 10 o'clock people can register, something like this. You can maintain a date and a time. So why is it throwing an error? Similarly, registration cutoff time zone you can choose. So which time zone is that which you are referring to? And withdraw cutoff date. So this is nothing but when you register and you want to withdraw, what is the cutoff date? So let's say the withdraw cutoff date is also today. So after today, let's say tomorrow nobody can withdraw. That is a withdraw cutoff date. Similarly, withdraw cutoff time. So by what time? Let's say by today 9 o'clock only it should get the cutoff time is over, and your time zone is Indian Standard Time. Use this time zone for the scheduled offering. Yes. Supervisor registration. Yes. That is if supervisor can register for this particular scheduled offering. Self-registration. Yes. Whether the user can self-register himself for a scheduled offering. Minimum registration, maximum registration. For this scheduled offering, how much minimum people is the person who should, number of people who should apply, how much is the maximum number of candidates who can apply. Enable users to waitlist. So if users are enabled to waitlist, then after 5 members have already registered, the 6th member who requests for the meeting or who requests for the training program will get waitlisted automatically. You can
Did you say we can restrict how many people can waitlist?
No restrictions on that.
Oh.
Yeah. So again, like say, even with SAP HCM, no, even with the waitlisted candidates, there was an order. Like even though you have you waitlisted before me, still I can be considered first. Some
Yeah.
priorities can be there, but here all those things are not there. It's a plain waitlist type, and automatically, depending on the sequence, the person will be pushed up. And there's no number of, there's no checkpoint for waitlisting. Like only 5 people can waitlist. That is not there.
Okay.
Yes, and you can maintain email ID here. And look at this. This is important. This email confirmation to user, email confirmation to supervisor, email construction to instructor, email confirmation to contacts. These 4, if you choose yes, the respective people will get emails that you have been allotted for this particular, you have been confirmed, you have been scheduled. All those emails would be obtained, or they would receive all the emails. So the only place
After they register.
Yes,
Right?
after they register.
Okay.
Whether they register,
Like, is it an iCal or just confirmation email?
it is just a confirmation email. This is only the place to enable the emails. Like say emails can again be edited from some other place, notification templates, we'll see how to do it. But that template, once it is edited, if the supervisor needs to get an email, here only is the place where you have to choose it as yes. Similarly, if the users have to get an email, the participants, if the instructor has to get an email, if any other people need to get email apart from these 3, let's say there is an admin in your team, and always the admin needs to be notified. So that admin you can maintain from here. I'll show you. Go to related more. In the related more, in the first column, you will have something called contacts. So over here, you can directly add a user who's no way related to this item. Like he's not an instructor, but he's a user in the system who could be an admin. So that admin, you want him to get an email. So this you will see tomorrow. But still, users are the people who take up the training. Supervisor is the supervisor of the users. So let's say I get enrolled myself, I will get a mail, my supervisor will get a mail. My supervisor can be fetched from the user workforce management group here. The instructor can get a mail. The instructor comes from whatever we have created in scheduling this particular offering. Contacts are the extra people apart from the user, instructor, and the person. If at all, if they want to get a mail, you maintain them from here and they'll get an email over here. How the emails are edited, we will see later. Okay.
Mm.
Then we have the item here. You can tag an approval process here. Again, approval process, we will see separately how to create an approval process. Approval required. So if at all, if it is required, you have to make this as yes. This is your end date and time, whatever we have created for the particular scheduled offering. And for withdraw approval process, should it also go for an approval? If yes, then you have to maintain it here. The others are the facility, start date, the time zone, start time, instructor, and the registration status of your scheduled offering. So let's save this. So that's about how you create a scheduled offering. Let's stop with this for the day. Tomorrow we will look at the related areas and we will further move on to creating a catalog and the assignment profile, and we will see how exactly users are able to see only the training programs that are relevant to them.
Okay.
Not tomorrow, but day after tomorrow. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
if at all, if like say in my nights, like say now this is my morning, so my night, which is your morning, if at
Mm-hmm.
all, if I am okay to do, I will let you know in advance.